Hi, I'm Diane Davis, and once again I get to talk to you about Christian believers who can use alternative and complementary therapies from the healing community in a way that does not offend your faith. For the past couple of years, almost 3 years now, I've been really practicing and enjoying the benefits of EFT, which is the emotional freedom technique that Gary Craig developed and has been well researched, is an amazing combination of cognitive reprogramming or changing your thinking while pressing on acupressure sites in the body that allow blockages in your energy flow to be released while you are bringing in a new perspective on the issue. Now, unfortunately, for most of us who are believers, the idea of being the creator of your universe and being able to reaffirm how wonderful you are, how self-directed you are, how accomplishing you are of your tasks that you've assigned, and how you are breaking these barriers is really difficult to swallow. Recognizing that the Holy Spirit leads us into all truth, recognizing that in Him we live, we move, we have our being, makes it much more realistic to us to look at the unblocking of energy and the change of perspective about a problem, psychological reversal, than to just simply say, we have done all this. We know we haven't done all this. That doesn't mean we don't use our mind and our emotions and our body to move into a greater understanding of God's will, which is His plan for our health, of peace and safety, as we've discussed in my newsletter many times. So what I want to talk to you about today is EFT. Tapping has a major following all over the world and is a very reasonable technique. It is a little different, so let me explain how it works. As you set up by chopping on by pressing on the karate chop point, as they call it, you set up what it is you really want to focus on. This begins a pattern of releasing energy in a blockage area. You then follow through after 3 statements. You follow through on the eyebrow point, the side of the eye, under the eye. In this technique that I like very much, you press both under the nose and in the center of the chin simultaneously. You come down to these very powerful points right at the collarbone, underneath the arm, kind of in the middle of your bra if you're female, or about 3 inches under your armpit if you're male. Right underneath the breast area, kind of where the bra line is, about 4 inches down from the nipple line if you're male. Tapping this way by pressing against the wrist point, the pulse wrist point here, and then the top of the head. And that's really the technique of tapping. And those are specific centers of the acupressure meridians where energy flows through the body that you can actually impact by pressing on them, tapping firmly on them while you deal with a psychological reprogramming, reevaluation of some problems that have been a pattern for you. What we as Christians know as real strongholds. The lies we tell ourselves, the lies that we're fed, the things that we accept as true when they're really not, the blockages in our own relationship with the Lord. I think this is a very, very good technique, and I think that if you can do it within the framework of the Christian belief system, it's very powerful. What I found, and not to offend anyone in the healing energy community, the tapping community, I greatly respect their work, but about halfway through any guided tapping script, it suddenly switches from the acknowledgement of the difficulty, which is not being negative, it's acknowledging the difficult negativity. And then you move into the positive. And what happens is you move into the positive by telling yourself that which you can do. And while that is okay, there comes a point where we diverge. In the next tapping video that I'm going to do for Christian Strategies for Health, I'm going to show you how to identify financial worry, physical pain, emotional eating, problems related to obesity, and put those stressful, difficult situations that many of us go through into a tapping perspective that won't offend your Christian worldview. So I invite you to look at some of those. Again, you can find these at www.christianstrategiesforhealth.com. It tells my story. It won't cost you anything to look at. You might want to look at my free report, how I went from weighing well over 200 pounds about almost 9 years ago, and to God's plan of peace and safety. I thank you for looking at this on YouTube and Facebook, and it's really fun. And I will pray for your peace and your safety, your health in His plan. www.christianstrategiesforhealth.com. And I hope God richly blesses you.